Hey, peace and love. Hope all is well. Hope you're feeling good and feeling high vibe, feeling your best self. So, I just wanted to make a quick video just on something that my guides have been making present to me over the last week or so, and probably in fact about 2-3 weeks actually. And what it is, it's on timelines. Sorry. Now, what my guides was letting me know was that one, they was telling me this information, but also telling me for me to tell others is for us to not be focused on one specific timeline, one specific end goal. Now there is an end goal of like entering the age of love, entering the age of light, going back to the knowing of oneness collectively. However, what my guides was making me aware of was that obviously energy is manipulable. Is manipulable. There's an ability to manipulate energy. Therefore, there's an ability to manipulate timelines. Also, there's when we as beings on earth are living out individual timelines, collectively we are living out timelines as well, and those collective timelines are also constantly shifting, constantly changing. We are constantly coming in and out of timelines that are better for us or also worse for us. Every single day we are constantly jumping between timelines, and obviously it's with hopefully with the end goal and the final destination of being at oneness and being at wholeness. And I'm getting that regardless we will end up at that point of oneness and unity consciousness and so forth. But it's about not focusing on necessarily one specific outcome, because we all collectively create, our collective reality. And also what my guides was letting me know was that when channeling messages, when giving out messages, when giving out guidance, it's important to keep it open in terms of expectations of how things should be, because even though you may explain a concept to somebody or you may explain a way of being for somebody, that way of being or that concept can be very different for every single person. And it's not that that concept isn't just that same universal truth for one person, it's just that like the concept can be different for many different people. So it's like important not to focus on necessarily the like a rigid outcome or a rigid destination of how or where we should end up. Sorry, I just came inside because I was not distracted, I was interrupted, and then like my flow of conversation it was halted. And as I came upstairs, I was receiving more downloads, and it was basically again pertaining to what's it called, timelines. And what was coming forward was that sometimes we have to, and this is more so talking about collectively, yes, individually as well, but this is more so talking about the collective. Like collectively, sometimes we have to go back, sometimes we have to regress, sometimes we have to go back and access lower vibrational states collectively, because there are things that we didn't maybe learn collectively, things that we didn't understand collectively. And yes, we can go back and access these things and learn these things on an individual basis, but the collective is just as important. The wider body is just as important as the individual souls, the individual beings, the individual humans. You know, the things that we must do together and things that we must do individually on our personal journeys to ascension. So there are times when, yes, collectively we are going through darkness and a collective darkness, and they can feel like there's this collective dark cloud over us. And sometimes that is just kind of going back into a older or a more denser timeline, because there are things that we still need to learn, things that we need to uncover, things that it's almost like there are these levels, and I want to say levels of consciousness, but it's not really about the consciousness part of it. It's just more about like timelines and lessons and teachings that we are meant to learn from these timelines. And it's like each level or each lesson has a key, and you can go to the next level, but that key that was for the level before it stays with that level before it. So if you don't unlock that door, then that door stays unlocked. It doesn't mean that you can't go and unlock a different door, which we do. We unlock other doors, but that's why there's this going back. Sometimes we have to go back and unlock things that we didn't unlock things that didn't need to be unlocked till now, you know? And that's why there's always this shifting of timelines, this shifting of timelines, yeah, just this shifting constantly. there's again the reminder to not be to not necessarily just have one expectation of how you expect something to come to fruition. It's just like when you are trying to manifest, sometimes, that, well, a lot of the time, it's about being very specific about what you are wanting to manifest, but it's also about being open enough to kind of not have any expectation of how that manifestation is going to come about, if that makes sense. So I'm still receiving guidance and messages, and what energy is saying is that when it comes to timelines, and the easiest, well, I don't know if it's the easiest, but that's just how it feels. One of the easiest ways to access timelines on a personal level and of a collective level is via memories. Our memories are timelines in themselves. When we are regressing, when we are within our mind space and we are accessing a memory that isn't accessing a timeline, we are accessing a moment from said timeline. And usually, well, I'm saying usually, but we access positive and negative memories, which is obviously my personal opinion. But that is the way for us to access timelines, to access more positive timelines, to access more happiness. All we have to do is really go back and access memories that make us feel happy. To access more love, to access timelines of love, all we need to really do is go back to memories of love, because that memory is part of a timeline where you were feeling loved, part of a moment in a timeline where you was feeling loved. And they're saying, but when it comes to like trying to manifest future timelines of love and oneness and unity, it's more so like, what I'm getting is to, okay, so there's many ways that they're telling me that this can be done to manifest like future positive timelines and even timelines of oneness and wholeness. And they're saying one of the ways is via just projecting into the future of what you want, again, just, and really probably just simple and normal manifestation techniques. But another way that that's being given is that it's going back to memories and accessing past memories. And if you want to say, let's go back to love, if you want to access a timeline of love or bring in a timeline of love, it's about going back to that memory and imagining if that memory was to play out in your life now or to play out in your future. And that's the way of like manifesting a timeline of love. And you can do that with any kind of topic, like abundance, strength, confidence, happiness, joy, forgiveness. But really, a lot to do with this video is that we have the ability to access and also bring in and also take out whichever timelines are necessary, which timelines are needed, which timelines are going to benefit us on an individual and a collective level. But a lot of it is using our free will, using our personal choice. Like there's a part of us that we can just go with the ride, go with the flow. We can just go with what's going on, or we can take a active part in co-creating our reality. And I'm getting timelines is a part of it. Timelines is a part of the human experience that kind of humans have took themselves from. It's more so like we come to Earth and we live a part of whichever timeline is actively undergoing, rather than coming and maybe shifting the timeline, intentionally shifting the timeline to something greater, to something more positive, to something of more love. We just come to Earth and go with the flow, and that's kind of what we've been doing, I want to say, for a long, long time. The way they're making me feel, it's like centuries. But we're taking more control over the timelines. We're taking more control over the electromagnetic grid of the Earth, if that's the right phrase, the right terminology. But I'm seeing like the ley lines of the Earth. We're literally, as humans, as spiritual beings, taking more control. And it's not that we're taking control of the Earth, because the Earth is the Earth is in control. The Earth is a living being, a living entity in itself, Mother Gaia. But we are in a more co-creative space with Gaia. Yes, that's exactly what it is. and it feels like she's like taking a bit more of a break, a bit more of a breather. Like not in terms of like the happenings of what's happening now. She's very hands on, very hands on, very hands on, but it's like she can. It's like she acknowledges the co-creative aspect that's coming more into fruition, which is the like the relaxation part. It's like, because I remember before when I was channeling or giving guidance from Gaia, a lot of what she was saying was kind of not frustration, but a little bit of frustration, a bit of disappointment that kind of we are not really looking after the planet, taking care of the planet. But it just feels like in terms of within us, there's more of a compassion for the earth. There's more of a wanting to understand the earth. But I think I'm going to leave this video here because we're going, not straying, but the topics that are starting to come up, they could be in another video. So I thank you for watching. I send you my peace, my love, my gratitude. Ashe.